The first draft of this script, written when Joan Crawford and Kirk Douglas were attached, was by Jay Draitler, who'd written screenplays for such terrific films as Laura, The Dark Corner, and Call Northside 777. When Hans Stromberg took control of the project, Roy Huggins asked to rewrite it, feeling Draitler's adaptation hadn't captured the spirit of his novel. In the end, Huggins was still disappointed, complaining that Byron Haskin's direction was too static and that the film lacked the feel for Los Angeles that was ingrained in the book. And despite being released at the peak of the film noir movement, and despite starring two of the genre's most familiar faces, Too Late for Tears was a dud at the box office. Stromberg's magic touch, which had produced MGM classics like The Thin Man, The Women, and Pride and Prejudice, had dried up. He'd make only 2 more films before retiring from a career that went all the way back to 1921. A few years later, looking to recoup some of his losses, Stromberg sold Too Late for Tears to Astor Pictures, which reissued it under the title Killer Bait. Once Astor went belly up, Too Late for Tears became an orphan, unprotected by any studio archive and therefore at risk of completely vanishing from movie and TV screens. After years of searching, the Film Noir Foundation, mainly thanks to our colleagues at the UCLA Film and Television Archive, located a couple of decent 35mm copies and a good-looking 16mm print. One of the 35s was found in France, where the film was released under the title La Tigresse. I'm telling you, this film had more titles than Mickey Rooney had wives. With just enough elements in hand, a painstaking restoration began. Creating a new negative and ensuring the best image quality meant choosing bits and pieces from each of our 3 sources. Some scenes were literally rebuilt, shot by shot, using pieces from different print sources. The most complicated part of the process was recreating the titles. The best 35mm print we found didn't have opening titles and credits, and the other 2 prints carried the reissue title, Killer Bait. Well, we were dead set on restoring it under its original title, and that meant not just digitally recreating the titles, but snatching frames in between the titles in order to recreate the action behind the credits, animating that roadster cruising Mulholland Drive, as well as the twinkling lights of Los Angeles. A cinch in the age of CGI, right? Well, not when the digital work has to match image reproduced photochemically. Another bit of magic involved recreating the film's iconic final frame, Jane's lifeless fingers clutching her beloved and bloody bills. This shot had disappeared from all versions of the film that over the years had turned up in shoddy public domain videos. So, a tip of the Noir Alley fedora to Scott McQueen, who managed the restoration of Too Late for Tears, assembling those surviving bits and pieces to recreate the revitalized version that is now preserved for posterity, whether Liz Scott liked it or not. And if you're a Liz Scott fan, this is your lucky week. She'll be back next weekend, surrounded by Burt Lancaster, Kirk Douglas, and Wendell Corey in the Noir Alley premiere of the 1947 rarity I Walk Alone, directed, coincidentally, by Byron Haskin, the guy who made today's movie. Until then, don't ever change, Noir Alley fans. I don't think I'd like you with a heart.